I sure am in the spirit of Christmas this year, Jane.
Oh, it is a wonderful time of the year. Merry Christmas to everyone, and welcome to PM Magazine's Christmas Special. I'm Jane Adonizio.
And I'm Chad Booth. And I'm hoping that all of you find yourselves healthy and happy with your friends and family right now. Tonight we are going to meet the real Santa Claus.
We are also going to show you how to celebrate Christmas Victorian style.
We're going to stop in and see how people in our area decorated their houses this year.
We're going to show you how a simple family tradition turned into a full-time love affair with Christmas.
And the Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble has a special presentation, a made-for-television version of Dickens' Christmas Carol, put on exclusively for PM Magazine and for you.
But right now, we are in a very Christmassy location. We are in front of the grand Christmas tree on Public Square in Wilkes-barre, and it's time. We have a date to meet the real Santa Claus. Certainly this man can't be Santa. He is supposed to travel powered by 8 reindeer, not 250 horsepower. Could it be that the real Santa eluded us again? But wait, children do seem to gravitate toward him wherever he goes. He does have that certain sparkle in his eye. He looks the part, and what's more, he really believes he's Santa Claus.
Well, I'm the real one for while I'm here. There are those before me, and there'll be those after me. I'm just another one that carries on the traditions and the belief in Christmas. My father stumbled into the character, and as the years went by, he became all of me.
And the character of Santa is one that everybody wants a part of.
You like that beard? Huh? You like that beard? I sort of do, too. Goodness gracious, you got a handful there.
Now, you might be wondering what makes us think we caught up with the real Santa. Well, while many people know him as Kris Kringle, he's changed his name legally to Santa Kris Claus. It was formerly Leo Schultz. He's made his residence in the North Pole, New York, where he lives in a red and white house. And though in the past he has worked as a mailman, hardware clerk, and a door-to-door salesman, he now works 365 days a year, spreading the goodwill of Christmas. By the way, he does make a living through modeling as the great gift giver for TV commercials and magazine ads. But he also makes sure that he has time to do what Santa does best, bring the spirit of Christmas to as many people as he can. He'll often pop into daycare centers or schools unannounced because he says children love to be surprised. But make no mistake about it, he also believes that Christmas is not just for children.
Everybody, because we're all kids. By degrees or by age, we're still kids.
Whenever Santa comes to town, he makes a list of places to visit, and he always stops at nursing homes and hospitals.
We get back to being a child again and taking everything in the beauty of the world. The old people who really knew Christmas like it was many years ago enjoy that part, but they also enjoy seeing Christmas through the eyes of youth, reliving it through their eyes, through their words. Maybe that's why grandmas and grandpas have so much fun.
And, as you might expect, this Santa is quite certain about the true meaning of Christmas.
The real meaning of Christmas is love. The greatest gift ever given to us as human beings by the birth of the Christ child in the manger. Christmas is love, to give it every day. Santa is just a vessel, an urn of helping to bring the true meaning and joy of Christmas. Merry Christmas.
That guy is so realistic. It makes me want to run home and pull the covers over my head and wait for the morning.
Chad, it's only worth waiting for if you've been good this year.
That's an answer that only he can tell me.
That's right.
You know, it's funny because we celebrate Christmas with so many different traditions, and some of them are really familiar to us, and some of them are kind of unfamiliar. You know?
That's true. Up next on our show, we're going to go to a central Pennsylvania town that celebrates Christmas in a very spirited way and a very unusual way. It's a Victorian-style Christmas.
A proclamation from the office of the mayor, Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, on the occasion of our annual Victorian Christmas.
In a small town in central Pennsylvania, Christmas this year will be celebrated much as it was 100 years ago, when the Victorian age was at its peak.
And I therefore extend to all of you a warm and joyous holiday greeting.
Just about everyone here in Bellefonte is involved in this Victorian Christmas celebration, from senior citizens and Cub Scouts to business people, merchants, council people, the mayor, and generally people from all walks of life. Now, where are you going back to work?
Right.
Oh, now, where do you work?
I'm a police officer.
I get it. You're Bobby and you're a police officer here. You really are a police officer. Can I take your hat? Coat? Who's watching the town? There is a strong 18th century flavor in this Center County town, which accounts for the Victorian theme.
The architecture in Bellefonte is Victorian in style, and in order to capture our pluses and to work with our pluses, we went to the Victorian style Christmas.
And their pluses include more than architecture, for this community is a thoroughly spirited one. From outside this workshop, you can see Santa's helpers, actually Cub Scout Troop number 330, as well as a senior citizens group sprucing up old toys. This is the doll hospital here at Santa's workshop, where these senior citizen nurses are fixing up dolls in a beautiful way for kids who would never otherwise have them. Old-time crafts, some with new applications, are also on display in a working fashion. And when you're dressed to the hilt in Victorian garb and you're with the mayor of a town as fine as Bellefonte, well, you get to travel in grand style. Look at this buggy. This is wonderful. This is really fine. Also here in Bellefonte, you can take a lantern tour of Victorian homes, finding out along the way just what life was like in the late Victorian era. This celebration proved so successful last year that this year they incorporated themselves, sold stock, and raised more than $4,000 to ensure that a Victorian Christmas will happen next year in Bellefonte.
Well, I think it's captured a spirit and an enthusiasm that has gotten everybody pulling together, and I think the end result is that we have a camaraderie and a closeness with all the citizens of Bellefonte, and that's really the culmination of this whole thing as far as the effort.
When you start to ask yourself what Christmas is really all about these days, and all too often you come up with the answer commercialism, well, perhaps it's time to start digging inside yourself and get involved in things, as the warm-hearted people here in Bellefonte have done with their Victorian holiday. Merry Christmas.
And now it's time to travel off to Fantasyland. We are going to go to a place where Christmas never ends. I'm going to put on my little hat here, and we're going to go on a very special little trip. Season's greetings, everybody. We're in a very special place. We're in Burnville, Pennsylvania, and this is Christmas Village. It is the most spectacular display of outside Christmas decorating that I have ever seen. But the story behind Christmas Village is even more fascinating. Outdoor decorating grew out of the old European tradition of placing candles in the window to guide the angels on Christmas Eve as they traveled the earth. They would have marveled at this sight. Bill Kosher, the son of the founder who now operates Christmas Village, remembers the farm as a boy.
Probably the thing that I remember most about growing up here is that I thought I was the luckiest child in the world because I thought Santa Claus lived right here. I think that Christmas Village actually cemented our family even closer together.
Bill's sisters Beverly and Sonia have the same fond childhood memories.
I remember being lots of fun. We had a lot of fun as a family. We worked together. We had a lot of responsibility for little children because we always worked. I worked at the refreshment stand, I think, since the time I could see myself over the counter space.
Before we could even reach the counter, we used to pour the sodas from the floor, actually.
We weren't allowed to use a lot of electricity while the lights were on. And oftentimes that meant no television, no cooking anything, no doing anything, or else the power would go off all over the farm.
There is a lot of each of the Kosher kids in Christmas Village. The family never threw anything away, and that gives the village special meaning to them.
I really think that the ice skating rink is fun because it has all our clothing in it.
You never lose sight of your childhood. All you have to do is walk around the village.
A stroll through Christmas Village will show visitors how the Kosher family brings life to imaginary characters and how handmade creations turn plain chicken coops into the North Pole. A journey that will bring out the child in the most sophisticated adult. Now, one of the highlights here is a visit with Santa, so you can tell him what you want. Now, for the more bashful ones, they can leave him a letter in his special mailbox. The Koshers answer each one of them by mail. And some kids have asked for some pretty wild things.
This one says, I would like a sister and brother twins would be nice. A Cabbage Patch doll to love all the world.
They have, most of them always say about how they want to be good or they're trying to be good. This one says, Dear Saint, I've been trying to be a much better boy, and I have been a better boy for the past week.
The continuation of Christmas Village has made Christmas a way of life for the Kosher family.
We're kind of isolated, I guess, in some sense from other people.
Friends, actually, other than just brother and sisters. And I think that that's continued. That whole idea is continued. Probably even as we've grown and gone away to school and gotten, you know, involved in our own families, we still come back to this.
So that's the story of Christmas Village. And isn't that what really Christmas is all about? Families and loving. And maybe it can become part of your Christmas tradition. I know it has for tens of thousands of people.
And before our Christmas Odyssey is over, we have one more stop to make, and that is with the Bloomsburg Theater Ensemble. They have made a very special adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
Marley was dead to begin with. There can be no doubt whatever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, the undertaker, and the chief mourner.
Scrooge signed it.
And Scrooge's name was good at the exchange for anything he chose to put his hand to.
Scrooge and he had been partners for I don't know how many years.
Scrooge!
A squeezing,
Wrenching,
grasping,
scraping,
clutching,
covetous old sinner.
Wassail, wassail all over the town. Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Bah, humbug!
Christmas a humbug, Uncle. You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Well, come then. What reason have you to be dismal? What reason have you to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah, humbug!
Once upon a time, of all the good nights of the year upon Christmas Eve, Scrooge and his clerk, Bob Cratchit, sat busy at their work. At last, the hour of shutting up the counting house arrived.
You'll be wanting all day tomorrow, I suppose?
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient. It's not fair. If I were to stop you half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound. But you don't think me ill-used. When I pay a day's wages, I get no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier next morning.
The clerk promised that he would. And Scrooge left the office with a growl.
He lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner, Jacob Marley. The house was old enough now and dreary enough, for no one lived in it but Scrooge.
Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door, except that it was very large.
Let it also be borne in mind that Scrooge had not bestowed one thought on Marley since his last mention of his 7 years dead partner that afternoon.
And then, let any man explain to me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of a door, saw in the knocker, not a knocker, but
Marley's face! It's humbug! It's all humbug! It's humbug. It's all humbug. Oh, Jacob Marley, Mercy, dreadful apparition. You are fettered.
I wear the chains I forged in life. I made them link by link, yard by yard. I girded them on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore them. Is it happened strange to you? Or would you know the length and the weight of the chains you bear yourself? No. Your chains, Ebenezer Scrooge, 7 Christmas Eves ago, were as long and heavy as these I wear. But you have labored on your sins. It is a ponderous chain, a ponderous chain. But you are always a good man of business, Jacob. Yes. Mankind was my business. Common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. Hear me! My time is nearly gone. You will be haunted by 3 spirits. I think I would rather not. Without their help, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Look to see me no more, Ebenezer. And for your own sake, remember what has passed between us. Remember!
It's humbug. It's all humbug. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No. Your past. Rise and walk with me.
I'm mortal, I'm liable to fall.
There, but a touch of my hand. There. And you will be upheld in more than this.
As the words were spoken, they passed through the wall and stood upon an open country road with snow upon the ground.
I was bred here. I was a boy in this place. There I am.
Ebenezer! Brother! Dear, dear brother!
Then,
I have come to bring you home, dear brother. To bring you home, home, home.
Home, Mr. Fan?
Yes. Home for good and all. Home forever and ever. Father's so much kinder than he used to be. That home's like heaven. And you have to be a man and never to come back here. But first, we want to be together all the Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
You're quite a woman, little Fan. Let's go.
No more work tonight.
Bless his heart alive, it's old Mr. Fezziwig again.
Ebenezer!
There I am, a young man.
Dick!
Dick Wilkins. Poor Dick, oh dear Dick.
It's Christmas Eve. Now let's have the holly up before a man can say Jack Robinson.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude. Mr. Fezziwig has spent but a few pounds of your mortal money.
The happiness he gives is quite as great as if it cost a fortune.
I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You have never seen the like of me before.
Never.
Touch my robe. Touch, touch, touch.
There never was such a goose.
And it was cheap at that.
A marvelous goose.
A marvelous goose.
A marvelous goose.
Any Cratchit would blush to think that the goose was too small, or that this was their one feast of the long year.
Well, we haven't eaten it all at the loft. There's still some bones left.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Oh, spirits, tell me, will Tiny Tim live?
I am in the presence of the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Lead on, spirit, lead on! My little, little child. My little child. No, spirit. that I shall be in days to come. No! Spirit, no! Am I the man who lay upon the bed? Good Spirit, hear me. I am not the man I must have been, but for this night, why show me this divine pastoral hope? Good Spirit, assure me that I yet may change these shadows you have shown me by an altered life. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. Oh, tell me I may sponge the writing from off this stone. I am not the man I was. Oh. My bed. My room. I'm alive. I'm alive. Oh, Christmas and heaven be praised for this. I say it on my knees. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year to all. I need him observed.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone. Merry Christmas. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven